Hey everyone, thanks for tuning into financialfreedomradio.com. This is the inaugural show using our video podcast. And today what we're going to talk about is what you won't hear on this show and what you will hear. So stay tuned.
From Philadelphia, the home of the Liberty Bell, Financial Freedom Radio starts now. Here's your host, Raymond Jewell.
Hi everyone, my name is Dr. Raymond Jewell, and I'm going to be your host on this podcast for the next 30 minutes. We've been doing these podcasts since 2007, but today we're relaunching our video podcast. You can pick it up on YouTube, and sometimes we'll be streaming it on Facebook. But we have to let you know that the original engineer, Casey Jones, is no longer with us. Steve Bailey is our producer engineer, so we're stepping up our game here, and I'm going to introduce him to you now. Say hi, Stevie.
Hey there, everybody. Hey, Dr. Ray. How are you today?
I'm great. Thanks for helping us out here. I appreciate it. And we're going to have a great show for you today. But first, let's start out with our saying. And I've been using this for years, and I love it, is the mind that opens to a new idea never goes back to its original size. Albert Einstein said it, and that is one of our goals, is to expand your mind so that you've got new information to make you think differently. And again, it never goes back to its original size. So with that being said, let's dig in to what you're not going to hear on this show. You're not going to hear about investing in financial institutions. They're not in your best interest. And so we're going to explain how you can create wealth without them. You're not going to hear about giving up control of your money to financial planners, which they love for you to do. Once we get through this list, actually, I'll come back and explain a little bit. But again, it's not in your best interest. What you're not going to hear is about investing in mutual funds. You're not going to hear about investing in stocks. You're not going to hear about investing in bonds or tax shelters. We're not going to give you the run-of-the-mill information that you get on financial shows, because quite frankly, these institutions don't work in your best interest. And we will prove that throughout the series of these shows. And by the way, I would like to ask at this point, give us 90 shows. That's all I ask. You give us 90 shows, and if you're not learning new information, you don't listen to us ever again. But in 90 shows, we will make sure that you get enough information to open your eyes into how to create wealth without the financial institutions or the financial planners. And you should probably get a sense that you're not going to hear about the little idiosyncrasies of these products and everything, because when you break it out, we're going to show you where the flaws are. We're going to show you where these financial institutions are working in their best interest and not in yours. Let's face it, the financial institutions are not your friends. They're working against you. Their best interest is theirs, not yours. And no financial planner or financial institution will ever agree with what I'm saying. They will argue this tooth and nail. I've been doing this for over 35 years, almost 40 years now. And they do not like what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is truth. And it's hard to refute when you have the basic information to back it up. The financial institutions work on four basic rules. Rule number one, they have to get your money. Rule number two, they have to get it on a systematic and ongoing basis. So they're getting your money, they're getting it on a systematic and ongoing basis. Rule number three is they've got to hang on to it for as long as possible. And rule number four is they have to give it back as little as possible. Have you ever tried to get money out of a financial institution You got to jump through all sorts of hoops and everything to get that. These are the four basic rules. You can't deny it, because if they violate these rules, they're out of business. I once had a executive from a financial institution confront me on this, and he said, "You've got to stop saying that. It's not true." I said that if it's not true, you should not be in business. This is really not a bad thing, because it's the premise that you build your business on. You've got to get other people's money. There's no doubt that without that, you're out of business. If you can't get a hold of other people's money, you're done. And you want to get it on a systematic and ongoing basis. That means that you've got to have the money coming in. And they build a lot of strategies and systems around that, like dollar cost averaging is my favorite. So that gets it on a monthly basis. Dollar cost average and send us money on a monthly basis, or buy dividends out of your paycheck on a monthly basis. They're getting it on a systematic and ongoing basis. And they have to hang on to it for as long as possible. Because if you take it out, they don't have it. So they have to put it to use. Now, they're creating wealth with it for themselves, not for you. They give you a little small piece of the pie. We call this economic rent. What's the cheapest I can pay you to keep you happy while I'm using your stuff? Economic rent. Because if you take it out, they don't have it and they can't work it. And they give it back as little as possible. Because if you start taking it out, they don't have it to work with, and they're slowly going to go out of business if enough people do it. We saw that when there was a run on the banks in the Depression. We saw it in the 2008 when the banks had to stop and close for a brief period of time. Whenever there's a run on a financial institution and people take their money out, the financial institution doesn't have it. So they will block it. They will keep you from doing it. There's all sorts of triggers and everything that keep that from happening. Stock market will close down if it drops for in any great manner. So if they violate these rules, they're out of business. So where in the rules do you see that I just went over anything that's in your favor? It's none. There's nothing in your favor. So what we want to do is make sure that you understand how to deal with these people in your favor, where the rules are set for them, they're hurting you. Here's a little important tidbit. When you give your money to a financial institution, you're giving your hard-earned money to someone you don't know. You may know the sales guy or the sales lady. I have to be politically correct here. But you don't know the person managing the money. So you're giving up control of your money to someone that you don't know, and you're hoping they will manage your money and they will do well with it. And if they do well, you get a little more. If they lose your money, whose fault is it? Can you answer that? Think about that. If they lose your money, whose fault is it? It's yours. Your fault for giving them money. Sorry for pointing at you, but I want to stress this point. Many people don't realize that. And they think that these financial institutions are set up to operate in their best interest, and they're really not. It's just not going to happen where you're going to get a lion's share of the pie. They're going to always take it. And then you hear about all these billionaires that built hedge funds. How did they become a billionaire? They became a billionaire on the backs of the people. Now, let's talk about what you will hear. What you will hear is how to build wealth without the financial institutions and the financial planners. Wealth is something that is created. You are the wealth creator in your life. You're the one that's actually bringing in the money, whether you work for a person or whether you own your own company. You're the one creating wealth, and you will create as much wealth as you desire. That's why the financial institutions go to you, the wealth creator, and want you to give them your money. It makes no sense. Remember, without you, they're out of business. So you are the wealth creator, and we're going to teach you how to create wealth, how to build wealth. And when you have your money in your wealth creation vehicles, it grows at enormous rates, and you get the lion's share of the growth, not the financial institutions. Remember, when you convert wealth to money, and we'll go into that, wealth is a house, wealth is a piece of art, gold coins, great piece of wealth. Let's take a gold coin, for example. It's worth a certain value. And as long as it's in that coin, that tangible coin, it will increase in value as the value goes up in the marketplace. But when you convert that to cash, you now lose because the coin is appreciating, but the cash over here is depreciating because money depreciates over time. It costs more money over time to buy the same thing you could buy 10 or 20 or 30 years ago. So when you convert everything to cash, you have a depreciation going on within the money. It's called fiat money, paper money. And the value is only what the public will agree it is. If the public says, we don't trust this money, the value goes down. But gold, they call that God's currency, believe it or not. Gold will continue to go up in value as long as it's in that piece of gold. So when you acquire a piece of gold, that's wealth to you. And it will continue. If you acquire a piece of real estate, that's wealth to you. It goes up in value as inflation goes up. If you convert it to cash, it goes down. That's why the financial institutions want you to come, take your money out, take a second mortgage, pay off your credit cards so you can run them up again. Pay off your second one, pay off your cars, pay off everything that goes back to the banks, and now you're in debt to the banks for the money you created the loan for. So you really, as long as you keep doing that, you don't own the equity in your house. You keep taking it out, giving it to the financial institution, and they will in turn work it. And they've got it. And if you miss a payment, they take your house. That's not fair. The natural universal laws of wealth. There are natural laws of wealth creation. They've been around for thousands of years. They go back into the classics, into Greece, Rome. These natural laws, they've been printed about in the Bible. They've been talked about in the Quran. Other biblical studies have talked about these wealth creation universal laws, and we're going to go over those. We've managed to pull all those laws together into one place, and we're continuing to do that. So once you learn the universal laws of wealth creation, you're going to learn that you don't need the financial institutions anymore. How to create wealth without financial planners and financial institutions. No financial planner in the world is going to teach you how to run a business because they don't know. They're not going to teach you how to start that business. They're not going to teach you the universal laws of wealth creation. Remember their goal. They want your money. And the salespeople, financial planners are really salespeople. And, I'm shooting at them. I'm throwing rocks at them today. But I just want to get your attention that these people are not your friend, even though you may think they are. Because if you say you're not going to do business with them, see how long they're your friend, unless it's somebody in your family. And they're going to try to persuade you to stick with them, when in fact, they're only nurturing their own nest. How to create wealth without financial planners and financial institutions is important. Don't forget that. We gotta understand how to. If you go back and you look at wealthy people, and I'll talk about that in just a second. They didn't use financial planners. Financial planners didn't help them build wealth. Financial planners and financial institutions don't build wealth. They don't create wealth. You do. You're the only wealth creator in your life. We're going to go over specific steps to universal laws of economics in creating the wealth. Even though there's universal laws of wealth creation, there's universal economic laws that you need to know that work in your favor. Principles and strategies used by wealthy people for over thousands of years. You're going to learn those. Wealth creation strategies that have been used by wealthy people. And to give you a few, I've got them in my notes here. Here's one, Norman Vincent Peale. He's a well-known wealth creation author. The Power of Positive Thinking. Dr. Robert Schuller, Napoleon Hill, Charles Haanel wrote the Master Key System. The universal laws of wealth creation are important, and these people write about them, but the information has been kind of scattered. So we pulled it all together for you to get access to read all in one place. Historic wealth creators such as Carnegie, Rockefeller, Morgan, Pitcairn, Vanderbilt, Mellon, many more. I've read all their books. We extracted all of this. Remember, I've been doing this for 40 years. And these laws have never changed. They do not change. And no matter what type of country you live in, they work. Granted, it's nice to have a country that gives you good tax favoring, but in any country under any rule, these principles apply. They work in dictatorships. They work under socialism. They work in capitalism. They don't discriminate. You can make them work. So one of the things that, as we go through these shows to sum all this up, one of the things that we're going to hear is we're going to dissect the various financial instruments, and only to show you where the flaws are and how to overcome the flaws. And then we're going to drill down into the universal laws of wealth creation and the universal laws of economics. And this information is massive, but when you put it all together, it's very simple. Remember, the mind that opens to a new idea never goes back to its original size. So I want to thank you all for coming and listening, and hopefully you'll make it back here every week. Financial Freedom Radio. You can get the audio part on financialfreedomradio.com. But this information is important if you want to build a better lifestyle, enhance your family values and stature, build a strong business. Anything in life, it's important to have these rules under your belt so you know what's going on. Because as long as you don't, the people are going to take advantage of you. And remember, if they lose your money, it's your fault, not theirs. Their fiduciary responsibility stops at the door of when the risk starts to take over the wealth creation part of it. So I want to thank you all for listening. Take care. We'll see you back here next week. Financial Freedom Radio. Take care. God bless.
Thanks for listening. Please remember to subscribe to the podcast. If you want to learn how to create real sustainable wealth like the extremely rich people do, or maybe you just want to sustain the wealth you already have, you need to check out Dr. Ray's new book, Why the Rich Are Rich. Ray's been coaching clients for 35 years and has completely unlocked the secret strategies that rich people use day in and day out to grow and sustain their wealth, regardless of what's going on in the economy. His book is completely free, and you can get it by going to whythericharerich.com and entering your email address. Again, that's whythericharerich.com. Head over there now.